Imagine waking up tomorrow. No alarm clock blaring, no Monday meetings on your calendar, and no boss breathing down your neck. You're not waiting until you're 65, not praying for a lottery ticket, not hoping for some miracle inheritance. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the crazy part. This doesn't have to be a fantasy. In the next 10 years, yes, just 10, you could actually be done working. Not because you struck gold, but because you discovered a system. A system that quietly turns your money into an army of workers. An army that never sleeps, never complains, and eventually earns more than you do. And today, I'm going to break that system down for you, step by step, with real numbers, real strategies, and the real secret that separates those who grind until old age from those who retire decades earlier. Most people spend 40, sometimes even 50 years working, not because they love their jobs, but because they think they don't have a choice. Society sold us this idea. Retirement only happens after decades of exhaustion. And because the finish line feels so far away, most people stop even questioning the system. Think about it. You start working, you get a paycheck, you spend on rent, bills, maybe a night out, maybe a new gadget. If you're lucky, you save a tiny bit, and maybe, just maybe, you try investing. You open a brokerage account, buy some index funds, maybe a few dividend stocks. But after a year or two, you look at your account and think, wait, that's it? All this effort and I barely see progress? And that's where people quit. They assume early retirement is only for Silicon Valley founders, millionaires, or finance YouTubers. But the truth, the reason you don't see progress in the beginning isn't because the system doesn't work. It's because at first, you are still the system. Building wealth is like pushing a snowball uphill. At first, it's tiny, heavy, frustrating. Every inch of progress depends on your effort. Your money is still sleeping. But if you keep pushing long enough, something magical happens. The hill tilts in your favor. The snowball starts rolling by itself. It gets bigger, faster, stronger. And suddenly, it's not you working for money, it's your money working for you. The problem, most people quit right before the tipping point. And that tipping point, my friend, is where compounding finally takes over. Let me give you a simple math trick. Example, if your investments grow 10% per year, 72 divided by 10 equals 7.2 years. That means every 7 years, your money doubles. Start with 50,000, in 7 years, 100,000. Another 7, 200,000. Another 7, 400,000. Keep going and suddenly you're sitting on $1 million. Now here's where it gets wild. At first, you might earn just a few $100s a year. It feels like watching paint dry. But when you cross $100,000 invested, a 10% return gives you $10,000 in a year. At 500,000, it's 50,000. At $1 million, it's 100,000. That's more than most full-time jobs without lifting a finger. That, my friend, is the snowball rolling downhill. But let's be real here. If you're making $4,000 a month and saving 10%, that's $400 a month. Even at 10% growth, after 10 years, you'll have about $76,000. Great progress, but not enough for early retirement. So here's the mindset shift. You can't just save your way there. You need both offense, more income, and defense, keeping more of what you make. If you raise your monthly income to $10,000 and keep saving 10%, now you're investing $1,000 a month. After 10 years at 10% growth, that's about $193,000. Pair that with rental income, dividends, or even partial Social Security down the road, and suddenly, early retirement doesn't feel so far away. The secret weapon? Every time your income rises, keep your lifestyle the same. Got a $500 raise? Invest it. Don't upgrade your car, don't move to a bigger place, don't chase the Instagram lifestyle. Every extra dollar is a worker. Don't put them in the showroom, put them in the field. Building the perfect early retirement portfolio. Now, let's talk strategy. Most people think investing equals buy some stocks, or worse, they shove everything into a savings account earning 1%. That's like building a house with only one material, not smart. A strong early retirement portfolio has 3 layers. 1, growth assets. These are the engines, US and global index funds, dividend stocks, growth companies. They give you capital appreciation that beats inflation. 2, income producers. These are your cash flow machines. Think rental properties, REITs, dividend-paying stocks. They give you money you can actually spend without selling your assets. And 3, stability and protection. These are your shock absorbers, treasury bonds, high-yield savings, maybe some gold or commodities. They won't grow fast, but they protect you when markets crash. Oh, and one more thing most people ignore, currency diversification. If all your money is in US dollars, you're tied to the fate of one economy. Hold a small percentage in international markets or strong foreign currencies, just in case. This type of portfolio won't make you rich overnight, but it'll keep you in the game for decades. And that's the real secret to compounding. Now, here's where a lot of people mess up. They think once they've built their nest egg, they can stop contributing. But inflation is a silent thief. Even at 3% a year, it doubles the cost of living in about 24 years. So if you're investing $1,000 a month today, next year, aim for $1,030. Not because you're greedy, but because your future life just got more expensive. Same goes after retirement. If your portfolio makes $6,000 a month, don't spend all of it. Reinvest 10 to 20%. Keep your forest alive. Live off the fruit, not the trees. Even small contribution increases add up massively. At 10% growth, $1,000 a month for 20 years is about $760,000. Add just 3% more each year, over $1 million. Here's the cruel trick. The first few years feel like nothing. You save, you invest, you sacrifice, and your account barely moves. It's boring, it's frustrating, and it's the exact moment most people quit. But compounding works like a slow-motion avalanche. At first, invisible, but once it hits momentum, unstoppable. Quitting early is like walking away just 2 steps before the avalanche begins. Wealth is like planting a tree. You don't dig it up every week to check the roots. You water it, you protect it, you wait. The first stage is invisible growth. The second stage is unstoppable momentum. Your job is to survive the first to enjoy the second. And then comes the magic moment, the tipping point. One day you'll check your account and realize, last month, my portfolio grew more than my paycheck. At $100,000 invested, 10% is $10,000 a year. At $500,000, it's $50,000. At $1 million, $100,000. Without showing up at the office. That's when your role changes. You're no longer pushing the snowball uphill, you're guiding it downhill. And here's the warning. At this stage, the biggest risk isn't losing money, it's losing discipline. Because the moment your money makes more than you do is the moment you have the most power, but also the most responsibility. Early retirement isn't just about numbers, it's about transformation. Before the tipping point, your focus is, how do I earn more? How do I save more? How do I invest better? After the tipping point, the questions shift. How do I make this machine run forever? What habits protect the freedom I've built? And how do I make sure I never have to start over? Here's the bottom line. The hardest part is surviving the quiet years, when nothing seems to happen. But the easiest part is enjoying the years when compounding finally bends the curve in your favor. So the real question is, can you keep going long enough to reach that moment? Because once you do, you'll realize something life-changing. The first 10 years weren't the sacrifice, they were the shortcut. Every dollar you invest is a silent worker that never clocks out, never calls in sick, and never demands a raise. Put it to work. Let it build the freedom you deserve. If this story gave you a clear roadmap to financial independence, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this wake-up call. And now I want to hear from you. What would you do with your life if you never had to work another day? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one.